We are here with the TokenTraxx. We have the co-founders, Miles Leonard, he's the co-founder and chief talent officer, and Tim Gentry, who's the co-founder and COO. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you?
Very good, thanks.
Very good, very good.
We're in sunny UK, which is quite a unique thing, I can assure you.
I'm sure it'll rain in about an hour or so, though, right?
You bet.
Yeah. Right on. Well, happy spring, though. Fantastic. So let's get right into it. Let's get everybody up to speed. Like, tell us, I mean, I've been following what's going on, and this is, it's such a great idea and project and what I see for the future. Give us an overview. What is TokenTraxx?
So TokenTraxx is a Web3 music marketplace built by music industry professionals, such as my wonderful colleague Miles, for the music industry. And it's, the music NFT markets is very busy and very cluttered right now. There are lots and lots of really interesting projects kicking around. I think what makes TokenTraxx different amongst those projects is that we're music first, and that we're a marketplace with a real clear purpose to create transformation in the music industry by giving creators who have significant fan bases of anything from 1,000 fans up opportunities to create fair rewards and allow their fans to also own a stake in the future of their careers.
Yes, and it's like based as well, which is quite unusual because most of the other marketplaces are US based.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, your big takeaway is like own your sound. Like really, when you come up with that tag is what do you mean by own your sound?
Well, I think it's probably all encompassing actually, and I think that obviously copyright in ownership of your copyright is obviously one of those, but it's taking ownership of it as well in terms of how you actually want to monetize it, commercialize it, be creative with it. Genuinely take ownership of it. And I think that, artists and talent are getting smarter and smarter in this industry, and they're understanding the value of their rights in their music and understanding the value of their reach in terms of their audience. So I think taking ownership now, as opposed to looking at the Web 2 format, which is, quite a passive and quite sort of archaic way of sort of monetizing your copyrights in the industry, not necessarily, unless you're one of the higher echelons of the artist, as rewarding. So own your sound, take ownership of it, be innovative with it, be creative with it, and monetize it as best you can.
Yeah, and then from the collector's point of view, then obviously NFTs give collectors opportunities to own music for the first time really in a long time in terms of sort of mainstream adoption, where previously we might have owned music through formats such as vinyl, and some of those would appreciate in value, particularly if they were signed copies, etc. There's an opportunity for collectors to start collecting again and collect assets which appreciate in value.
Yeah, and yes, so say ownership of, if artists are out there and, selling rights within their NFTs for either their publishing or their master rights. And I think, the relationship with artists and their fans was quite a passive one when you're just listening through streaming. However, in this new world that we have, fans can take ownership of and have more participation and be part of the narrative of the growth of an artist through their journey. So that's pretty much what it means.
Yeah, it's like, this Web3 community, NFTs, it's, ownership. It's about that, that's the whole collective vibe of like, taking out some of the middleman. I mean, both of you have been in the industries, either media or Miles in the music industry. So you've seen where the music industry's been and where now it can go. And Miles, there was a great quote you had, and I think it ties into something you were saying earlier. Like, fans want to feel even more connected to their favorite artists and prove they are the biggest fans. TokenTraxx NFTs provide a way to do this through verifiable ownership and create a much deeper relationship to the artist.
Yeah. But I think that, that deep relationship, there was one point, really not that long ago, where there were, the gates and the barriers to participating in the commerciality of your, the artist you love was impossible. And it was either through whether it was through the independents or the majors, but it was through labels or publishing houses. And now those barriers have come down. And I think that, the relationship is much closer now with the fan and their artist. So that's really what that relates to.
There's a great team. So how did this idea come together in this team? I mean, you have a fantastic team. It's on the TokenTraxx.com website. Everybody can check it out. And what's also fantastic about this, we see a lot of projects that are coming out that you don't see who the teams are. And the fact that you put it up there, so it's, verifiable. It's you have a great team. How did this come together?
So the idea started with Tommy D. Tommy Danvers, the very well-known and absolutely outstanding music producer, musician, and DJ, one of the original Ministry of Sound residents, who's had a very acclaimed career, worked with so many people over decades in the music industry. And Tommy's also been into crypto from a fairly early stage as well, 2016, 2017. And he was ruminating about how Web3 could impact the music industry that he loves and is so passionate about. The idea came from Tommy, and then Tommy reached out to Paul Taylor, who's expert in kind of help supporting crypto businesses through concept design and launch phases. Paul and Tommy started to pull the team together. Tommy reached out to Music Industry Connects like Miles. Paul reached out to Media and Technology Connects like myself, and we really came together over the course of the summer last year, and it's been a sort of a roller coaster ever since. I mean, I've done a few early stage businesses in digital media, but the pace that we've delivered this one at has been absolutely phenomenal, and I think that's because of the people we've managed to get involved in it.
And we really wanted to make sure that as we were a marketplace from it's music first, and that's what our platform is about. So I think we wanted to have this real balance of really smart people that can support us on the tech side and the build, and then people from the industry that really understand the industry that we're going in, and that conversation, communication that with artists, on each level, whether it's the tech or music, we're finely balanced, and I think that's what I believe really sets us apart. And we've onboarded some brilliant advisors and mentors to over the last few weeks, producers and writers, and that's just the start really of the growth of the team that we have.
Yeah, and I think what excites me about the team as well, beyond the obvious things that are exciting, is the fact that everyone in the team is really passionate about music. So whether it's Amelka, who's our financial analyst, who also makes beats, or Luke, our social media and marketing assistant, who's also a bass player, Jay working in Miles's team with talent and is also an artist in his own right. We've all touch music in some shape or form as DJ, musician, producer, and
Tommy and I had a relationship anyway when I was at Parlophone and Warner's, and using and engaging with Tommy as a writer and a producer on some of the projects I worked on there. So I've known him as a real passionate music person for years. So it was great to actually be working him in a very different context. I mean, for myself, I've been through Parlophone for I think it was about 26 years, and then the major label set up for probably 29 years. And I think for me, I was at a point where I wasn't seeing the excitement and the movement actually that I felt that the industry had to be on. And I was saying to Tommy the other day, it felt like I was in this lovely walled garden when I knew when the gardener was going to come, and when it was all nicely sort of looked after and cared for, but over the fence was an adventure playground of all these kids in there playing loud music and having a great time, and looking over the fence of that. And that's why I wanted to get involved. I think, how Web3 and everything we're doing, not just us, I mean, as in everyone that's in this space, every artist now must have a Web3 strategy going forward. And it's just vital, to have those discussions. So when we're talking to artists, it's a new space for a lot of artists, but the ones that are really intrigued and want to be the first into the market, but not just first, they want to understand it and they want to actually get the best out of it. And I think it's really important. Anyone just coming into this space who thinks they're just going to come in and drop an NFT in this space and it's going to be some cash grab, it's not going to work. We're talking about 3 to 6 to 12 month strategic plans for them. And that's why I think we give that real support and personal, support at TokenTraxx.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. I mean, this community, the NFT community, it's a wild community. It's fun. It's like, there's so much excitement there. And a year, we've been, going at 1,000 miles an hour. And it seems like we've also aged that much in the last year. It's like if you've been in a year, you're like, oh, gee, you're old school now.
That's right. But look, the streaming strategy was a 10-year adoption process. And I believe that this, although it moves very, very quickly, I think, people understanding crypto, understanding blockchain, understanding, all the incredible creative and innovations coming from Web3, it's probably going to be the same, although we are moving very quickly. But.
Right on. Well, speaking of like a lot of the innovations, and part of like the the Web3 community is also about tokens, and you have the TRAXX Token, and you had a public sale just the other day, and there was a lot of excitement behind it. And can you tell us how that went? I know this is exciting.
So my first one, I think some people in the team like Jitin, our CTO, and Brian, our CFO, have launched numbers of tokens before. But yes, my first rodeo here, and it was a roller coaster. It was great fun. There was loads of work to do. There's so much that has to happen behind the scenes in terms of sort of managing the whitelist sale and organising all the relationships with the exchanges. We had so many announcements going on last week as well, as we were sort of coming up in the run up to the public sale, which I'm sure Miles will touch on in a minute, because there's just so much great news about the support we're getting in the music industry. So it was a rush, basically. It was a full on, 2-week intense final sprint of 15, 16-hour days, finished at 2 a.m. on Sunday, but delighted with the impact. We sold out the first, the TRAXX Token sold out its first whitelist by 1 p.m. on Monday 21st, and then we opened on the exchanges Ascendex and Bitmart at 6 p.m. And we're a long-term project. We're not a pump and dump, so we haven't seen that. We've seen some modest increases in valuation so far, but we're very, very happy with the response from the community and the number of people that are getting behind us.
What does the TRAXX Token provide? What for owners and everybody that's in the TokenTraxx ecosystem?
Yeah, so TokenTraxx, the TokenTraxx is first of all a marketplace, but really what that marketplace provides is the opportunity to create a membership economy for artists who are partnering with us. So artists can build closer relationships with their audiences and memberships with them. And also at its heart, TokenTraxx is a membership economy. So the TRAXX token is the token of utility in that membership economy. So the more users hold of TRAXX tokens, then the better rewards they'll get. So and those rewards are everything from early access to NFT drops to live experiences and physical merchandise. And then the other aspect is that it's the primary token of exchange on the marketplace, so people can buy NFTs using the TRAXX token.
Well, and you mentioned marketplace, and I know you have a big event happening. There's a big announcement coming up, and can you tell us a little bit more about this marketplace?
So we're going live in beta on Monday, the 28th. So in just a few days' time. Bearing in mind that you never know how good your product is until you get it out there. And also, that first rule, I think that LinkedIn came up with, that if you're not a little bit embarrassed by your first product, then you probably released it too late. We're very much going with the sort of classic agile development approach of getting our products into the market as fast as possible, so that we can start to learn from our users and start to build it to delight them. The first products that come out in terms of NFT drops will be by artists that most people won't have heard of. Miles can probably talk a little bit about the lab.
Yeah, I think say that just want to make sure that we've actually tested the platform, and we've got people that are happy to work with us on that. I mean, the lab are two young producers and writers, UK sort of beats and hip hop, and they provided us just a number of beats and some particular piece of artwork to run with that. Tommy D is actually also providing us some of his work that he's been creating in the studio, and again, we're really just making sure we're getting all the sense checks in place and the functionality is actually working as it is before we then move on to our first tier of artists as well. And then the first tier of artists we're going to be working with is a guy called Rat Boy, who's got some incredible ideas, and is an artist in his own right, signed to Parlophone. And we're also working with a young, great songwriter and electronic artist called Max Rad, who we're very excited by, and he's got some brilliant visual and audio ideas as well. And we're actually going to be working with an artist called Psycho YP from Nigeria as well. So we're just in the process of onboarding our artists through, but we're having a number of conversations at all levels, actually, new emerging artists to the platform, as well as we'll talk to artists that maybe have catalog artists to actually artists that are currently in play. So I think we're going to be a platform, and not just for UK artists either. The conversation we're having so far, which we're under sort of NDA to actually talk about a number of the artists until we're launching, but we're very excited that people's understanding of this and curiosity into this space is immense, and the idea that there's another opportunity to be innovative and creative with their music, having seen music somewhat devalued through DSPs and streaming, and so this doesn't cannibalize the business that is there already. This is an additional revenue stream for them. And I think for emerging artists, it's probably a lifeline as well, that they can now probably through their music, whereas they were probably earning very little through their streaming process, can probably have just a fair, manageable wage.
Fantastic. So, I mean, that we kind of covered so much here. What are some other future teasers as we start to wrap up? Any other announcements that you want to let everybody know about? And also, where is the best place to find out more information?
Yeah, sure. So we've announced two very important partnerships with really exciting media properties. So one's Open Lab, who are a Robert Miles founded radio community out of Ibiza, who are just absolutely exceptional in discovering new music and have an amazing community of passionate fans who are really at the forefront.
Music and art, actually. Yeah. And it's brilliantly curated, and I think that they look left of center and find very unique and brilliantly talented artists in both fields, audio and visual. They're incredible.
Yeah. And we also have a partnership with Wasted Talent, who are UK based, and they are publishers of The Face, which is an iconic fashion and culture magazine, and collection of digital properties. They also publish Mixmag, the iconic DJ magazine, and Kerrang, which is one of the biggest metal properties out there. So we've got a really exciting partnership with them where we are creating content together. They're bringing talent to TokenTraxx, and they're helping us in terms of our creative design and capability, as well as providing us with like audience of millions in exactly the right environments.
And we got some great talent on the music side as well. Helping advise the TokenTraxx team. We got two incredible producers. Well, Oscar and Grammy Award-winning multi-platinum producer Paul Epworth that joined us last week. We're hugely excited about Paul joining us, but also Danton Supple. Danton and I go back a long way. He worked on Viva La Music and Coldplay way back in the Viva La Vida way back in the day, and he's an incredible producer. Worked with some amazing artists. We're very, very excited to have him on board. And then we got industry people. John Wolf, music manager, has been very successful in sort of UK hip hop and electronic, and it's somebody who, again, years ago worked with. He looked after some brilliant artists that we worked with back at Parlophone. And then Stephen Budd, who's somebody that's been in the industry for many years, comes with a wealth of knowledge and experience, and is supporting us, with that as well. And we got Dumi from Disturbing London, great label management company, obviously managed Tiny Tempo and Jessie J. And he's a real maverick and entrepreneur in the business, and this is just the start of the build of people who come with real talent, music talent, to help us support and make sure we get this right.
Okay, in terms of finding out more information, the best place to come is come to the TokenTraxx website, TokenTraxx.com. TRAXX is how we spell tracks. So TokenTraxx.com is our website. Just come there, you'll find everything, including links to all of the sort of details of the project, the team, the tokenomics, the whole works. If you're in,
feed.
We want people to join our community. Follow us on Twitter. Join us on Telegram. There's loads of really interesting discussions. We're dropping playlists every week, and that's the best place to stay close to all of our announcements, which will come
over the following weeks.
Yeah, thick and fast.
Yeah.
Right on. Yes, checking out Twitter is the place to be, it seems, right now for all things Web3 and Discord. So this is fantastic. Congratulations on the sale being sold out. And, I look forward to it's March 28th is when the beta is rolling out on the marketplace.
Yeah, it's March 28th. Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Gentlemen, thank you so much. This is really exciting. I'm looking forward. I've been following along, so I've been looking more into it. And, I got to go get in the next sale. So.
All right. Great to see you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah. Bye.